Alright, this is going to be a pretty simple video just like the last one. So I'm just going to open a random one here. This video is pretty simple. All this is about is, well, it's similar to the last one, but this is going to be a little bit more complex into engines. So basically what I've came through and done here is very simple. And these two, the Veterstat and the New Holland, new mod. I'll show you how to modify and all that stuff on them a little bit more straightforward than the other video. So let me open up the downloads folder. This is obviously, WinRAR and all that. I'll show you how to open this, but I'll also show you, if you're on Windows 11, always show more options because you can do things such as, if I go over to here, go over to more options, you can refresh and all the other stuff as well. So if you do feel like something's not showing up when it should, like you're downloading something but you haven't closed or minimized your Windows Explorer, you can do that with more options. But if you also want to do it for 7-zip, you can do it there. So if you want to do it this way, you can. It doesn't always work. I won't actually show it because I don't have great luck with this. For some reason I can't get it to work myself. But you can extract, modify by opening it in Notepad++ and then recompile or re-archive, whatever you want to call it, put it back into a zip. But make sure it's a zip file, not a 7-zip, not an iOS or whatever else, ISO, it has to be a zip. But basically open that up, and yes, you can open it in other services. The reason you'd want to use WinRAR instead of 7-zip is because, for example, if I wanted to open just specifically this, I could. So this is a different mod. This is New Holland. I'm not sure exactly what specific one this is, but I'm pretty sure this is probably looks like excuse me, having a brain fart, a forage harvester, and that's all you have to do. You just take out the XML file and drag it out. XML files are the code files. Shapes, i3ds. So i3ds are what you would use, if I could find it, the Giants editor, all the way up here. That is the 3D model of the object. You can actually go into the i3D, which I will show a bit later in the video. One method that you can use to modify working with. It doesn't always work with some files. I myself have tried multiple methods and they don't work very well. I have gotten it to work, but it can be slightly inconsistent. So keep that in mind when I do show you that. But that's how you get that out. I'll show you with this vehicle as well. This one just has multiple options, so it's a lot better to show. But for a less complex option, I'll show you the forage harvester. So, like I said in the previous video, torque scale is basically the horsepower of the engine. If you go all the way to the top, I'll switch between these two so that way I have both pulled up. If you switch to the top, you can see that max speed and power is listed. Power meaning horsepower, I would assume. But that's not the official. That is what it will list on the store page. The only thing that's actually full and official in these lines right here are these two. The lifetime doesn't really matter too much, don't worry about it. And price. Those are the only ones that are official other than obviously the image, and that makes sense, and the function is just the function, that's a category. But these two don't matter. If you see anything like weight, it'll be here, so if you feel it's too light, put a 5 there. I don't recommend it for one of those, for a heavier vehicle, in most cases, especially if you're using it to harvest forage. Just saying, probably shouldn't. Although you can if you'd like. So the only thing that you need to see here is to know that these two don't really matter if you're actually saying you want to modify things. And that's just because basically you'll go and click on buy the vehicle or release the vehicle, when you're customizing it. And it'll basically say max speed 30, for example, on that. And power, 375 horsepower to whatever when you're upgrading it. However, when you're actually going through, the actual power of the vehicle is inputted in the engine and all that. So this is the name of the engine configuration. This specific New Holland has engine configurations like in the 9000 series. And it'll list the official horsepower here, but again, this is just what it lists on the store page. This is the price, obviously, that is additive or added on to the price of the actual vehicle itself, whatever the total is. The RPM isn't too much of a concern. You can increase it if you would like, but you don't necessarily need to unless you're going to extremes on the speed. Max backward and forward speed are very simple, although for those, you do have to modify these. In FS19, it was as simple as modifying gear ratio. But in fs22, you do have to modify these groups of forward gears in order to change that, unfortunately. But it is a better way of doing it, because that does give you more of a way. Say you feel that a gear is very short, or one of them or a couple of them are very jittery. You can go in and make it so they have a better range. And this is brake force. Very simple. It is how fast your vehicle will brake. If I had a harvester, well, I'll put this as an example. When the X9 1100 series first released, it had a very low brake force, and that caused the vehicle to brake very, very slowly, especially under heavy load. In the mod release, the person who made it and released it did an update to fix that, most likely around 14 to 19. That's an example. I don't really mess with these two values. You can if you'd like, just to experiment, but that's up to you. Same with these guys right here. I don't necessarily mess with these because this is not taken from this torque scale, the norm RPMs and the torque. What they are is a percentage. You can mess with it, but I would recommend not doing it. I have done it in the past on a couple vehicles, and it didn't work as well as I would like it to. So I wouldn't recommend messing with this too much. So let's start with this right here. So normally this is a 1. All of these are 1. I put it to 4 because it's a larger vehicle and I want to use it to carry things like the Air Seed Hawk to max speed that I can, about 30 miles per hour or so. So you can basically modify these values to whatever you'd like. Base is 310, times that by 3.5 or whatever. You get about like 800, about right there. 752 is what my brain's saying, but I highly doubt that. So basically, you're modifying that. This is the actual power of the vehicle's output. And if you want to change the speed of the vehicle, it's very simple as 1. All you have to do is this is 7.8, this is 12.9, 39.6, and I think this was like 37, but either way. Basically, you just go into here. This is the first gear, and it goes up to 9.8 miles per hour, or kilometers per hour technically is what the code considers it, because that's the base configuration. The second gear is 22.9, third gear is 49.6, nice. Max speed is 63.4 on the fourth gear. Now, I always go just that tiny bit higher because normally in the code it will have it go, a couple of miles per hour at least higher on the final gear to the max speed. So I added at least, the 1.4 miles per hour extra. I'm assuming that's because of the max RPM. I'm not sure, but always keep that in mind. Don't mess with this. If this is true false most of the time, don't mess with it. The same thing goes with the rest of them. Very simple to do. Let's go down here. Now, as you can see, on these, you do have to modify each one of these specifically. However, if I remember correctly, yes. So, you do have to, which I apparently didn't. modify the max forward speed on all of them. I did not see that initially, and that is my own fault. Glad I didn't test out the vehicle yet. But yes, every value does have to be modified between engines, as far as I'm aware. So do keep that in mind when you choose to do so. There we go. So that is the way you would change values on engines. Now, this is a tractor, so it's not going to have anything crazy as far as unloading or anything. But what you can do is say I wanted this engine to basically cost less. It's just as simple as adding or reducing torque. Delete. There we go. Add a 0, whatever you want. There you go. Simple as that. And that's how you do that. The next thing I'll show you, it's not the right one, is this. So, let's see. I will go through here real quick, just so there's only a little bit here. So, I have the torque scale of 1.27 here. Now, I want to double this. So, 2.34. Okay. Completely doubled. Don't mess with the RPM. Don't necessarily need to. So this is exactly double. I can list this as 440. It's not going to be exact, but it will be close. This does have a minimum forward gear ratio and a maximum forward gear ratio. The way you actually improve this is you have to find that nice sweet spot. If this speed is high enough, for example, where you're lowering it just a percentage, a small percentage, usually around 20-30% if you're adding like 20 miles per hour, for example, around there. So I want this vehicle to probably go to 35. So this gear ratio is going to go to around 130. Maximum, sorry. Backward ratio I'm not changing because I'm not changing the reverse speed. Brake force, it is a very heavy harvester, but it doesn't carry anything. So I'd probably only increase this to 10 instead of 9. If it was, for example, a harvester that you didn't have, the bit of code that disables gaining weight, or you do, I do, and that is modifying how much things weigh individually, you would have it if it carries a lot, like Onyx 1100, Lexion 8900, probably about 15 or so when it's at max load, at least. And obviously you don't need to modify too much else. It's pretty simple as far as that goes. And that's why I modified this one as well, because it's a completely different setup to modify. If I wanted to change how fast it unloads, forage harvesters are a little bit different because they don't actually have a holding tank, so you won't see anything saying this is how much it holds. You would only see things that say how much it unloads. If I could remember where it was, though, that would be helpful. Obviously, you don't want to right-click anywhere because you never know what you're right-clicking on or doing. You might. I don't know. You think I know you? Either way. Yeah. Apparently, I do not know where it is. Alright. Sometimes these things like to hide. There's actually some harvesters where usually the load, like the actual hold limit, will be at the end, and the emptying will be like around this kind of area in the code. Like it'll just have a short line there. Or it'll be at the middle of a longer line. Some of them like to hide them, like where it'll just be randomly like in the middle of code, a big line of code. It's kind of annoying. Okay, now these are the stuff. Fortunately, I do not think I will be finding it because my brain do not work. Yep, dude. The cat came in, saying hello. I can't find it. Well, either way. Generally, what I'd recommend is about a 25% speed to 40% speed if you want to go fast, or 10% speed as low as a 5, depending on how slow you want it to empty. I always increase it just a tiny bit, purely because of the fact that it is smarter to do so. If you want to have a faster experience. If you're going on easy mode, make it a bit faster, but not too much faster. Maybe a 5 to 10% increase. But if you're going on hard mode or survival, I would probably recommend reducing it by that amount. If you really want to have more of a realistic take to it. Because in real life, obviously, you're not unloading very fast. You know, all of it's manual, making sure nothing spills, making sure everything goes in the right spot. Even unhitching and hitching is all manual, of course. So if you want to have that realistic approach, maybe like a 5 to 7% decrease in that unloading speed. I do apologize, I cannot find that. I might be able to find it with another vehicle. But let's see if I can find one. I should be able to just find a trailer probably linked over here, because there is one. I downloaded, hey little bud, I downloaded, do not meow at me at that tone of voice, you little shit. I'll give you a freaking hug. Yeah. Let's see. That's the New Holland CS770. Yes, this one. I think this is the trailer. Let me go all the way up, because that doesn't seem like it's a trailer. That's a combine. Is that even... Maybe. It's a cotton combine, though. So, yeah, no. I'm gonna bet your ass, dude. I'll freaking do it. I will freaking do it. There's a tipper. Perfect. Okay. So, I won't show any of this because I showed this in the last video. But I will go down to find some of this. Also, on implements, I would recommend lowering the weight, unless it is something that is normally top heavy, like a taller trailer. And that is down to the fact that obviously something that's normally top heavy will tip over very easily. And I would probably increase the weight by maybe 10% if you're having that issue. Don't increase it too much, because some implements will just, it'll crush the suspension. And so you can find a video on how to do that, which if you do, post a link in the comments. I'd like to watch that. I wouldn't recommend doing so. Just saying. But if you do want to have, say, a header, I am blind, that weighs a little bit less, like Durius, I reduced down to 700 kilos instead of 7.1 tons, if I remember correctly. You can do that, and it's very easy. The reason you might want to do that is, say you're running real speed limit, you can run it at higher speeds with the harvesters that it provides the availability for. However, the unfortunate part is, it'll bounce. I am blind. Legitimately, those are wheels. What the heck? Am I just not even low enough? Hold on, let me go down farther. I think I am just not low enough. Let's see here. Tension belts, base material, rim color, i3D mapping. Oh, that's a lot of i3D mapping. Nice. What the hell? There we go. So there's the capacity. Capacity. And we have all the capacities everywhere. I don't know where the heck they are. For emptying. There it is. Okay, so I have my 75,500 and 26,500. I just added a 0. And changed the 3 to 7, and yeah, I just added a 0 there. The reason the other one was 79 is because that is the upgraded variant. I just added like 4,000. And this is 2.5 million. I wanted it to be a little bit slower because, well, the other variants aren't very big. And the only one that really affect would be this one. and this one would just be more of a realistic take. So if I wanted it to hold a lot, but not really sell a lot, I could do it this way. So there's that. And I will now give you an example of what not to do. Last video, this is 4 or 3. It was 3, I think. This is 9 now. I will tell you this. So the reason I did this is old stream farm. Yeah, just gonna say that now. But either way, I'll show you what not to do with this. Now, you might think that the growth state timer is good to have as low as I have it. It can be, but it doesn't always work. And I'll tell you why. Well, not a perfect reason or explanation, but a good reason. Now, just like most things like modifying the working width, it's not 100% concrete. Sometimes it'll work like that, sometimes it'll take a few minutes to kick in, and sometimes you need that little specific thing to happen for it to work. Usually a glitch. And this is one of those things. For some reason I can't get it to work like that. It still kicks in right at the end of that month. So if you want it to grow like instantly, like for example in fs19, I did a very similar thing. It'll actually grow when you're planting it if you put it at fast instead of basing it on the time of day going to 0. In fs22, it doesn't need to be at 0 for the most part for it to kick over unless you're in something like AK map, which is a huge flat map, huge fields, and they're all basically so big together that it will grow from the top down. So if you're playing that map, keep that in mind. So, yeah, don't do that. Oh, and also, if you're doing forage, little fun thing, just so you know, yes, I know this because I fucked it up. Corn gives the most chaff, just as a heads up. And that's all that. I can now probably go into Giants Editor and show you an i3D. I don't know the names of any fonts. I'm just gonna tell you that right now. So what I'm gonna probably do is open up the one in here. It gets shapes. This is just the general i3D. Alright, so let's open this up. It should open. It should. I don't know if it will. Is there a difference in the tabs? Oh, there. Okay. Well, I don't know what this is, but first of all, breadstick. Second of all, whop. Either way, though, so I don't really have to have the actual implement here to show you what this is. So, very simple to do. Now, you have width, left to right, obviously. And all of these, I'll say this first, are based off the center of the object. So you want to work on start, which is the forward, width, side to side, height, up and down. So if you want it to work really forward, you can modify the XYZ of the area starts. Okay? If you want it to work really wide, modify most likely probably just the X of this. The Z, let me see, X, left, right, Y, up, down, Z, diagonal. Just an easy explanation, basically. So if you want your X right here to be really wide, you can modify that. And it can work. It's just buggy. For me, at least. Probably because I'm doing something slightly wrong. But that happens. So say I wanted my X to be 2, for example. Okay. I want the 2 on the working width on this. Okay. So now the working width should theoretically be twice as wide if you export it correctly and if you put it back in the folder. And the reason I do that method is pretty simple. Da-da-da-da. Done. That's why. So, there we go. And that is essentially how you do that. Very simple to do. No. My brain's taking a real good crap. But I'll just do this just to show, what I mean. Let's just put the power to 0. And the name to, I don't know, like, fucking, Waffenträger? I don't know where the accents are. There we go. Done. Why? I don't know. Don't ask me. What do you want from me? Eddie. Breadstick, motherfucker. Oh, and all you have to do to install a mod that's external, go to Documents, go to My Games, fs22, and Mods. Wherever it actually is installed is not where this goes. If you want to modify XMLs of the actual game, you go wherever it's installed. For me, that is the external. That's where I keep this extra mods. As a heads up, keep a copy. You go over to your games, Steam Library, Steam Apps, Common, which that follows that pathway right there up the top, right up here. It's for any game installed with Steam. You go to that game, and all this stuff appears. Kind of confusing. Data. Okay, go to Data first, and depending on what you want to look for, the only two you really need to worry about are vehicles and placeables. In most cases, that's it. If you're looking for a little bit more complex, you can go to Maps and go to all of these. That is how you modify things with fill types and fruit types. Fruit types, simple. Fill types, simple. Color grading, I don't know what you are. I don't care what you are. Please leave me alone. Don't mess with weed. It doesn't. It's not like weed. It's just a really weird XML. It kind of does stuff, but I don't really know what it does. So if you're looking to modify actual vehicles, let's go over to, I don't know, Landini or something. Here we go. And if you're opening this up, unlike in FS19, it does not have an actual image file. It has a DDS, which, unless you have it registered for syncing directly to Microsoft Photos, your photo folders, app, it won't show anything. You can still open it up, and it'll be like, hey, yo, what do you want to do with this? And I'll be like, I don't fucking know what the hell you think I want to do with it. Open photos. In which case, you can just, just force it open. But this is what you want, obviously. Next one. And that's how you modify games, the actual in-game implements. I will say, though, it does say, somewhere, I'm not sure where, but essentially you are not supposed to modify them, without knowing, understandably, that if you do modify the actual base game equipment in any of the FS series, it will not be available for usage in multiplayer because it's not the official variant. Just keep that in mind. I'm just going to open this up because I'm curious. Audio, true. I'm just going to put this as false. No, I'm just kidding. I would not recommend doing that. Unless you want to mute the game. You can just change all this stuff if you want. Previous. All this stuff. You got resolution. You got use and confirm. You know what? True F. Nah. I ain't using nothing, man. Dedicated server, CRC files. What's this thing? Okay, apparently it's nothing. It's a lie. It's a freaking lie. Damn it. But yeah, that's how you modify all that stuff. Simple as that. I guess that's the end of this video. Hope you enjoyed. If you did, like the video, I guess. What did I even do? I didn't do anything. Just looked at some numbers, like numbers, my guy, like numbers. No, I'm just kidding. We're gonna show off that Wolfenträger. if it'll ever open. If it does, nice. If it doesn't, I don't give a damn, honestly. You can go for yourself. Freaking, yeah, running it off a monitor. Beep, 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 beep. Actually, hold on. Let me go to AK. Yeah, I have so much money. Quick way to select all. You have a lot of mods installed. Just deselect all and reselect all of them. Times it in here. Oh shit, it's time for me to give a fuck. Actually, I don't work for a week. I don't give a damn, boy. Yeah, boy. Yes, I'm high. Alright. I don't currently own any of those guys. Get out of here, Hyphaman. So let me grab one of those. Now, as you can see, I modified the completely wrong vehicle. But does that matter? No. No, it doesn't. Nice. Some big wheels, some smaller wheels, some big wheels, some smaller wheels. I like the smaller ones. Yeah, GPS, make it white. The wheels, I'll keep it yellow. Yeah, simple as that. I didn't modify the header. Okay, my hard drive is going about as ballistic as I am. Alright, let's grab... Where's the tiny boy? Hey, tiny boy! There's a... Bob Saget. Let me get this guy, I guess. Alright, so we're going to switch over to this guy. As you can see, pretty simple, pretty simple. To go over to the page, now as you can see, it says New Holland S 2020. It is 2200, yeah, brain. Yeah, I know it's 4 drivers, so I don't give a damn. I can rob a connect, I don't care. 25 kilometers an hour, it says Waffenträger. Well, pretty simple. You know, 440 horsepower, it says right in the name. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Pretty simple, pretty simple. Let's see if it attaches to this. I'm really only doing this because I'm curious. Okay, I was wrong. Now let's put on the Ford Sharpster header. And I'm going to put on the corn head. So, the corn head can go right on this guy. Pretty simple, obviously. I didn't modify the working speed because I have real working speed on. Give me this guy. Those are my cotton harvesters. They're just doing their thing. I don't know why. They're kind of dumb, to be honest. Freaking dingus. Slap this on. With Ford Harvesters, can you not breathe? I would greatly appreciate it if you could just not breathe. Thank you. If you have a forage wagon, I would recommend putting that on. Don't mind me. To the back. Some of them in FS19 have difficulty with that. What I would recommend when dealing with this issue is don't use it. And I mean that wagon. Usually that's the case. Or you can just re-download the mod and see if that fixes it, just like a restart. Like a mobile game, you gotta reinstall it sometimes. Or a lot. It depends on what it is. Alright, so. Now, this is gonna get filled up really, really quickly, by the way, so do not be alarmed. Yeah, as you saw, it's 5600, that's not the right button. Pipe in, pipe out, oh yeah. So basically, we're just gonna hire this worker and tell him to go fuck himself. Not gonna refrain from using language, you can go fuck yourself. Wheat is not going to give as much as corn would. Just, Alt 0. There we go. And as you can see, the added power allows us to go almost to top speed and slowly get up to top speed. That's why you really only need to add top speed, and add torque, and a little bit of top speed to these guys. Yeah, they're a little bit uneven fields, but that's fine. So, yeah, simple as that. That's how you do this stuff. How you doing, Phil? try the buoyancy guy. Yeah. Let's see, did I modify? Yes, I modified. Hey, what's up, man? You come in here to steal more popcorn or something? Freaking baguette. The buckwheat. Do not make me hug your ass. I will freaking do it. Yeah, cutie pie. I'm just gonna keep it. You're so cute and lovable. Dobby. That's his name. Just gonna buy this, and I will show you that you do not need something crazy. Don't worry about my plow. It is definitely normal. Stop playing with my cords. I will bet your ass. I will freaking dang it. Oh. Get down from there. You stop it. He's a bot. He's a good boy. What do you want? I think I know what he wants, but I don't really have much treats left. I gotta get more at the store. You keep knocking those cores, I'm gonna body slam you on the couch. By the way, no, I have actually had a reaction where someone's like, "You're gonna body slam your animal." That's kind of mean. What I mean by that is, I used to have a couple chihuahuas, and I'd pick them up, give them a hug, like you hold like a baby in front of you on your chest. And basically, what I would do with him is I would hold him nice, and I would fall on to the couch, like usually with a comforter or a big blanket, if not, a pillow or whatever, and that would be directly behind me. And what I would do is I would just fall on my back onto the couch lightly. That is how you body slam an animal on the couch, respectfully. And if it's something like a chihuahua or another excitable animal, it will get them riled up. The puppies just loved it. They loved it. Ah, your claws are sharp. Get down there. What do you want from me? You are such a bud. Okay, now, zero. As you can see, it doesn't go much faster. Honestly, I did not expect that. Now, if we add one in, this is the Verdis style. And let's add in a new Holland. Obviously, 3-point. Cord. Very nice cord. Oh, he has a Q-tip. He likes Q-tips. Gosh, the fluffy tail. I will pet your tail. As you can see, even dragging a cotton bale, he is perfectly capable of carrying the implement as far as he'd like. For whatever reason, his brain has gone full retard. Let's see. And no, I don't consider that an offensive term if used in the correct format. The only word that I will never use is the N-word. Don't ever use that word. I met someone that just said it depends on how you use the word. Just shut the heck up, man. It doesn't matter how you use the word or format, it's still racist. But retard is a word that can be used in a comedic effect, just like I call myself one. I don't do it here, understandably, but that is just because. If you don't stop, I'm gonna hurt you. Get a kiss. Shit. Ow. Sat on my ankle. He's next to me now. He found a way up. Alright. You are a breadstick, and I hope you realize that. Now, as you can see, with an increase of power, it can go fully up to 22 miles per hour. This is a 24 meter wide plow, requiring 500 horsepower. 24 meter. And as you can see, it weighs, quite a bit, 20 tons. So it does require quite a bit of power to really just run it. So this is a very good thing to have. Just a slight increase of power. If you don't want to have a full-on heavy increase of power, you don't have to. You can have a very small increase of power, and it is perfectly acceptable. The only thing that you're really going to power this thing at full speed at, by the way, just as a heads up, is the modded Big Buds. You can get them anywhere. They say they're 1250 horsepower and 850 horsepower respectively for small, large, and medium. Yes, there's all three in the pack. But trust me on this, they're far over that, and that's a good thing. And that isn't just because of power, it's actually because of one thing. He's very good at making gear ratios perfect. So, there's that. And I'm actually just going to close this like flat out because I don't want to save that, obviously. I'm going to pet your belly. Yeah, my boy. He doesn't give a shit. I'm going to try and... One second. Yeah. That's right. That's Dobby. Alright, well, that's the end of this video. I will see you guys in the next video whenever that does happen. I would record covers, but, unfortunately, all services do not like having that done, understandably, as far as how I do it. So, have a good day. And if you do enjoy the video, you can like it. You don't have to, feel no obligation to like or dislike. I really don't put myself out there too much. But either way, see you in the next one. Adios, bitches.